Well, what are you going to do with your scraps? I'm preparing for 2026 for our combination of our stitching and refurbishing some of our clothes and upcycling them and embellishing them and using our stitching and scraps to do that. Now, I have these weird little pieces of batting, but I don't want to throw them away. I want to use them, and so I'm going to make something out of these so that I'll have some things just laying around ready to use on that projects in 2026. If you don't know about that, well, you can watch the video that I have on that. And I've got a lot of scarf fabric here that would be cool. Can't really tear it, but I can cut it up. Let's just put that on there. Okay, we've got some of that on there. Let's try some of this on top of it, a little bit. Let's see, where do we have a crazy little, that would look pretty good, and that would do pretty good right there. And we haven't started this one yet, so I've got some nice green lace here, and it's got this cool seam down it, which I really like. So let me need something under that because it shows through. Let's see, what can I put on here? Let's put a little bit of this on there first. Okay, now let's put the green. Oh, love that, love that. Beautiful texture. Now we could add some, let's see, some of that along there. Another piece of this maybe up along there. Let's see what else we might have. I don't know what that is, but I like it. Let's throw it on there. Okay. I have a little bit, not crazy about that, but I do like all this lace down here. Let's see what we can get out of here. Okay, what's that? I don't know what that is. Okay. Okay. We have 2 or 3 pieces here that we can cut apart. Place them strategically. Okay, we need a little bit more base fabric over here before we start doing that. Let's see what else we can get here out of my scraps up here. Okay, I know I got some stuff. Let's see what I got. Okay, I got this. Okay. I got that. I think I would like that in the middle of that. That would be really pretty. And I got to get a little bit more stuff. Here's some. That's a bucket. We need. Let's see. I like this fabric. Let's see if we can get a chunk of that on there. Under here, and then back under there, under there, under there. That looks pretty good. We need, I think that one. Let's put that one under here. Now, when we pin this, I will cut off the excess on the outside, but I don't want to lose everything right now, so. That one, I don't really want that one, but this one might work. Yep, let's put that one over there. Wrap that one in it. I just need something up there, and that might be just the thing. Let me get it cut here. Stick that underneath, cover that top edge, and you know what? That would probably finish that off really coolly. Let's try that. Now we're still working on this one. And let me see what I have over here that I can put back there. Okay. I have this little piece, which is kind of strange. And what else do I have here? I have a little bit of darker fabric here. What happens if we put that under there? Pull it around a little. That will, let's pull this off. Get this down better. All right. Now let's move that back up and over and over and over. I think we got a knot here in this one. Let me see if I can work that out and get it flatter. Not quite sure what's going on here. You ever get stuff like that and you think, oh my goodness, what is this? Okay. Sometimes you think you're just turning it inside on itself. Oh, it's two pieces. All right, two pieces now, but that still don't look right. I still think that's okay. That was all woppy doodled. Okay, when I sew it on there, I can get those opened up. And there you go. Looking better. All right, those three pieces right now look pretty good. I just need to pin them and take them to the machine and sew them. I'm not gonna hand stitch all this, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Well, I do have some progress on this first piece. As you can see where I laid it out, I went and quilted it through. Then I put this little piece on so I could cap the top, because I'm thinking I would like to make a pocket out of this for one of my pieces. And so even if I don't make a pocket, if I do something else with it, this top capping will be fine. Right now, what I'm going to do is stitch this on the back side. Okay. Now, while I'm doing that, let's talk about our theme for this video. Another question that often comes up in conversations is, why is slow stitching or gentle stitching, why is it so perfect for slower days? Well, you know those days when everything just feels a little heavy? Doesn't matter what it is or how often you do it, or it just feels heavy that day. And maybe even the weather, the gray days and winter coming on and things like that, you begin to experience more of those kind of days. And oops, let's see what I did here. There you go. And your body says, let's just take it slow today. I don't know if you're like me, but at almost 80, I have days when I wake up where I feel like I fell in a fatigue well, and I just have no energy that day. And but not every day is like that, but some days are. And those are definitely the days when I search for something to do. And one of the reasons I love my YouTube channel is that it gives me a reason to sit down every day and stitch. And especially on those slower days, I love being able to sit down and just stitch and maybe make a video, talk to you, share something with you that might be upbuilding in your life. It always amazes me how something so simple can be so healing, so calming. It just is, it's amazing. It's wonderful. So today, I want you to think about why gentle stitching is so perfect for your slower days, and how it might help you to rest and to feel rejuvenated, to restore yourself, and maybe even rediscover a bit of the joy of stitching along the way, who knows, or just living. Just enjoy breathing. What does it really mean to gentle stitch? Well, we've all been told a million times what slow stitching is, and how it is just hand stitching, really, but it's just slowing down, doing it stitch by stitch, not being overly concerned with what we're creating, but more about enjoying the process. That's really all it really is. But why do we need something like that when it comes to our slower days? Well, I don't know about you, but every year that goes by, I think that life pushes harder and harder against us. Everything around us seems to be chaotic. Nobody knows the way out of any of the problems. More and more social norms come up that just don't feel right. The pressure just mounts all the time, more and more. So, excuse me. But our hearts, they crave the opposite. They crave peace. They crave happiness and joy and fulfillment and accomplishment and a sense of being right with the moral standards of the universe itself. Those things we crave. And so those days, you know, and rather than being frustrated on those days that are slow and heavy, why not be creative? Why not grab a needle and thread and just do a little gentle stitching? And that's one of the reasons we need it, is because we don't have very many weapons to protect us against the world we live in. But doing things that are positive, upbuilding, and creative is in itself a weapon. And it's definitely a shield and a protection. So think about that the next time you think about why you need to be creating on those days that you feel so low. All right, I'm going to have to tie this off. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's see where we're at over here. All right, now I have these pieces. Do you remember those that I had stuck on there when I was auditioning? So now I've got to determine where they're going to go for sure. And let's see, I'm thinking this piece might be really good right over here. I think I'm just going to stitch that right there. Now you notice I did part of this with machine stitching, and then I'm doing the really embellishment top pieces with the slow stitching. That way, for me right now, as you know, that helps me out, being able to do some with the machine. But I still want stitches to show, so I can choose to get that through the pieces I put on top. My little accent pieces, you might say. Okay. So how does this gentle stitching really work? How does it calm our minds? We know there's actual science behind it. When we do something repetitive and soothing like stitching, our bodies, they say, slip into what's called a flow state. That's when you know your brain says, we can relax now. Your breathing will deepen, your heart slows down, and the thoughts that are sometimes tangled in your mind, well, those tangles start to unloosen. And before we know it, we're not thinking about the chores or the terrible news or the checking our phones. We're just right there in the moment. We're just stitching. We're just somehow being sucked into this world of calmness and peace and tranquility. Is that interesting? That's how our brain craves something like this. And so how simple is that? Anybody can get a needle and a thread and a piece of scrap of fabric, and they can start. Okay, let's go. Let's see where we're going to go with this. Here, I think I want this over here. I think I want this down here. And I think I want this to lay kind of in there with maybe just an ooch of color coming out there like that. Okay, I'm thinking that's a plan. Let's try that. Don't have too much thread here, but we'll work with what we got. Can't do that. Almost messed up. Okay. But on this subject we're talking about, on these days that we feel slow and we feel like we need something, these slow days, even though we stitch, sometimes they're still kind of rough. You know, if we be honest, slower days aren't always peaceful. Sometimes they make us feel uncomfortable. We might feel like we're guilty because we're not getting anything done, or we just are restless because we're so used to going at a all-out pace that it's hard to relax. It's hard to slow down. But when you choose to do this gentle, slow stitching, you're making a decision for yourself, actually. You're deciding to choose to do something that is healthy, is good for you. So it's kind of like caregiving for yourself. And that's a good thing. That's never a bad thing. And a small act like that, a small decision like that, leads to this gentle mindset that we can get into this flow where our brain is saying it's okay, you're safe, you're okay. It's a way of tending to ourselves. But if you haven't ever done it, how do you get started? Well, if you're new to this kind of thing, or even if you've been around it for a long time, and even if you're like me and it's a huge part of your life, and you even try to teach it and help others to do it, no matter what, we can start small. There are times when I just want to work on a small project like this one. I don't want a huge wall hanging or huge art project, or I just want to do something small. And you see that a lot in my videos. I go from big projects to little projects, big projects to little projects. I really alternate them a lot because there are days when I feel overwhelmed by a big project. And then there are other days where I feel thrilled and energized by one. So you have to go with what your body language, what you're feeling, what you know will benefit you, okay? What's the sense of slow stitching if you're going to stress yourself? If you're going to overwhelm yourself, force yourself to do something you really aren't up to doing. Let me get this tied off here and some more thread. Let's see. I think, would you believe I don't have any loose thread? How did that happen? I don't know. Let's see what I've got around here. Got a little bit of gold here. Let's finish off this, whatever's on this. Get it separated. Not very long. I'll be not going very far with this, but it's got to be used, so we might as well use it. Okay, what did I do with my needle? Where did I stick it? There it is. I wish I could make myself put it in the same place every time, but I'm not thinking about it, and I just stick it somewhere. Okay. So what I was saying was, don't push yourself, don't rush it, and make sure that you realize that it's okay to take pauses. It's okay to stop and sip your tea. It's okay to walk outside and listen to the birds sing. It's okay. You don't have to rush any of this. You can stop anytime. Nothing has to be finished. That's gentle stitching, okay? So, gentle stitching, it has taught me a lot through the years. And one thing it has taught me is that my slow days, my down days, if I'm stitching, nothing is wasted. My day and time hasn't been wasted, even if I don't use what I stitch. It was like therapy for me. It was healing. It added joy to my life. I don't have to make excuses for why I do it, because I do it because it makes me happy. So those times are like healing times. They're times of reflection, meditation. They're times when I just let the joy of life come through my stitches. So next time life slows you down, instead of fighting it, grab your needle. Sit in that quiet place you have and just stitch. Till next time, let's all stay scrap happy. Well, I definitely am scrap happy, and I finished this little piece and I wanted to show it to you. I put the little elements on that I started with at the beginning. I added a little bling in here, some sequins and a little brad type thing here. And isn't that cute? I just love it. And it's ready to do whatever I want with it. It can be maneuvered, turned, and switched, and inside out, and whatever, to make it fit what I want. If it's a pocket, it's got a nice reinforced edge up here, closed out, and it'd be a nice pocket. So anyway, whatever I'm going to do with it in the future, you're going to see it again for sure. Now, I definitely want us to stay scrap happy, but I also want to show you what I'm preparing for lunch. We like hamburger hash with new potatoes this time of year. So maybe this will get your mouth watering. Till next time.